It is a beautiful evening out here. Welcome to the garden. I have a few projects I'm working on tonight and I want to take you along. One of these is actually just mulching this ground space down here. I had been doing wood mulch, but I've got these areas where it's like patchy clay. Maybe the grass is gonna grow through, maybe it's not. So I actually been putting down just some, just like straw, just to kind of, I don't know, cover some of the cardboard that I had out here, cover the patchy clay areas. If grass grows in, then I will go ahead and just trim that. If not, we're gonna have a mulch. So I've kind of like finishing out the look of this garden. I'm also gonna start trimming out these 2 in-ground beds that I have out here with some logs to make some continuity with the other gardens. I'm trying to just get this garden looking a little bit more, yeah, just, I don't know, you know, a little bit more complete. And then I'm gonna plant some pumpkins. So let me talk you through that. But first I'm just gonna get this garden kind of all nicely buttoned up with a little bit of straw. I am so excited about this. It looks so much better. And this is the other thing about the straw versus mulch, is I was able to cover so much more area with just that one bag of mulch, or bag of straw, rather than like one bag of mulch. And it's just sort of fading into the grassy areas. And I'm just gonna kind of like let that happen. I did do a slightly thicker layer over here to kind of see how much it would actually suppress the grass. If it really does a good job suppressing the grass, then I actually might put more of it over top of these few kind of grassy areas in this garden. There's really not that much of this garden that is actual just full on grass. So maybe I'll end up putting out more of it. I don't know yet. My other project is surrounding these beds with logs. So I just have a few more that I have to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that chore. All right, got that done. It's amazing how just like any kind of mulch just makes an area feel just so much more settled, just not having so much exposed dirt. It's very exciting. So I'm glad to get that done. Okay, so my next project is a little crazy and potentially ill-advised, I guess I should say, but I'm gonna try it out anyways. So I have up in that front garden, you saw there was a whole bunch of space in the front. I think I showed it a couple videos ago, and it's where I wanted to put in pumpkin patch eventually. So I was thinking that'd probably be a next year project, and then you know how one thing leads to another, and I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it this year. Now, it's not fully set up, and as far as like soil, I don't know. So I put down, I'll show you when I get out there, I put down just a roll of basically like just brown paper, and I put a little bit of straw on top of it. I'm gonna put some garden soil on top of that and kind of try the no dig method. I'm not expecting, I'm curious to see how it goes, because obviously there's only gonna be so much soil, but of course as that paper breaks down, and then the plant should be able to reach through that paper pretty quickly. That should break down quickly, and I need it to happen quickly because we're going for a Halloween pumpkin harvest. My pumpkins did not work out here. This was not the spot for them. I don't think they got enough sun, or I'm not sure. Anyways, I didn't get any pumpkins. But I still have 89 days until Halloween, which is also our first frost date. Halloween and our first frost go together. They are right on top of each other. And I'm feeling in the fall mood. It's actually cool today. It's like 75. Now it's cooling down. I have a sweater on. This is insane. Like, this is such a change. So I'm kind of feeling the fall pumpkin vibes. I'm like, I broke down today and I got a fall scented candle at the store, which I know it's too soon, but the kids are going back to school and it's kind of like tricking my brain. But I'm trying to remind myself, I still have time. I still have time for pumpkins. So let's grow some pumpkins. So the Jack B. Littles have a 95-day to maturity. We have 89 days. So cutting it close, but I might be able to get some. And I also pulled out, I didn't actually look at the days to maturity for these. 50 to 60 days. 50 to 60 days. So 95, this is really cutting it close. 50 to 60 days, well within our route. And these are kind of fun. They're like, they're technically a squash. You can actually harvest them as like a small, as a zucchini, or you can let them grow up and you can eat them as a winter squash, or use them as like a fun, like funky looking pumpkin. So we're gonna try these two. And then I also pulled out a couple of the other ones that I tried to start earlier in the year, the flat white boar and the mesquite de Provence. Both of these have like a 95 to 100 something days to maturity, so they're pushing it a little bit, but I figure worst case, maybe I can just harvest some smaller ones. I don't know if they would preserve well, but if it's like literally just for like the week of Halloween or whatever, I don't know. I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 seeds from each of these because I want to try to grow these again. So I want to save the seeds. I'm just going to do like 1 or 2 of these. And then I think we can max it out with these 2 because we're like right on track. So you have to think a little bit about, this time of year, the days are getting shorter. It's cooler today, although it will probably be way back up to full heat in just a couple days. So I'm not really worried about heat, but the days are getting shorter. There's less sunlight. They may not grow as fast. I definitely think that we have with the gouchy, I don't know how to say that. I don't know why I'm saying gouchy. Glucoi? That's probably more accurate. I definitely think with a 50 to 60 day maturity, that's pretty safe. These are a little bit risky. But basically, the grass has been growing so fast. I was like, I don't want to weed whack that area anymore. I want to try to do the pumpkin patch. Like, let's go. Let's try. Let's see. I also pulled out my birdhouse gourd seeds. These are also 95 to 110 days to maturity. So I don't know. It's a little bit like risky, but I thought I might put one of them in and just kind of test it out growing in that area. I grew one back here and it's been doing so-so. It is actually flowering, so maybe I will get some gourds on it, but I thought it'd be curious to try it in the full sun, which is probably a better growing condition for something like a gourd anyways. And then I don't know why I pulled out my Mexican sunflower seeds. These usually bloom for me in the fall, and I just was kind of tempted to see what happens if I put them in the ground like in the middle of the summer heat, which we're tailing off a little bit from, but I saw the seeds and they're a little bit old seeds and I figured, you know what, let's just give it a go. So I'm gonna go out to the front garden. So the beds are definitely not finished yet. I probably want to add like one more, and I do want to add in the border. So around all my beds in the front garden, they all have that border of logs. So over the next couple weeks, I should hopefully be days, trying to add that border in there so it looks a bit better. But we're just gonna try to sow some pumpkin seeds. I also do need to water, so I'm a little bit on a race against time. And it would be good to water down all this straw and let it kind of spread out and soak down. That would be good. Let me give you the full, from afar look. Here is the look of the garden. I wish I could translate it better on camera, but you can probably tell it's looking more, don't mind the trash right there, but it's looking a little bit more finished, right? So all of that straw will kind of sink down and fade more into the background, But yeah, I feel like this looks better. Now, there's one raised bed planter over there. That's gonna eventually move, but I just have it right there for now. Oh, but it's so nice. Just a bit more complete. I was really getting sick of all of the, like when it rained, the backsplash of mud onto the sides of all the raised beds. It looks a little bit like a hayride or something, you know, or like corn maze. But I don't mind that look. I'm realizing now in a lot of my gardens, I've always used lighter color mulches often. I used to do like a lot of pine mulch in my other garden. I kind of like that light look. And so this area next year, I'm going to be primarily doing cut flowers. So I think the look of like straw on the bottom is okay. I'm okay with it. I realized I didn't spread it under the chair. I always do that. I always miss the details. And then I look on the camera and I'm like, oh, I missed a spot. All right, well, I got to water and I got to plant pumpkins. So, you know, we'll fix it. We'll tidy it. But trust me, I feel like it doesn't convey quite on the camera, but trust me, it looks much better. So here's what we've got right now. I've laid down this paper. This is like that thick brown paper. It's used a lot for like drop cloth kind of thing for painting, and you get big rolls of it. So I went ahead and put in a couple rows in the front. Eventually, I think I will probably end up, you know, having like this whole area just soil and planting, and then maybe do actual like walkways of the straw in between. But for right now, I'm just going to get started with the two, because at least it's something. And I did want to leave some space here because this is where I want to have my pollinator planting border. I do want to have, you know, flowers, and you need some space to walk. And it's always hard for me to remember that. This garden has taken so long to mature that at times I felt like I've given myself too much space in the walkways. Like this walkway is big. But then on the other hand, you know, when you have room, like the different size walkways and room, I think it just kind of like makes it easy to go through and walk around, and kind of lends itself. I don't know, you do want to have some space. Like this is a lot of space in here between the beds, but well, it feels like a lot, especially when you're trying to weed whack it. As you can see, I let the grass grow way too long last time, and I'm still kind of working on taming it. But anyways, for now it's good. And I just decided to do two here in the front and then one up here. The garden is like very symmetrical up at the top, and then it's going to kind of bleed into less symmetrical and bleed into the wayward pollinator border and everything. So it's kind of like the formalness kind of recedes as you go along, and I think that's an okay look. At first, when I put these in and they aren't perfectly symmetrical on either side because the spacing is a little different, I was like, oh no, is it terrible because I ruined the whole symmetry? And then I'm kind of like, who am I kidding? Like, this isn't that formal of a garden, and we've got the wood, and I think it's kind of nice where it gets formal and then progressively less. And the border, I don't want the border to be like completely symmetrical, so that's okay. By the way, look at this garden. It's looking like a real garden, isn't it? I'm actually so proud of it recently. I keep making my husband like come to the window. I'm like, look at the garden. There's things blooming. It looks like a real garden. Very exciting. So as you can see, I thought I'd do this one with you. We just got the paper here, and then I will put some logs on each corner, and then eventually we'll get logs going around all of them, completely surround it. And then I have some garden soil, so we're going to put some garden soil down the rows, and then we're going to plant into that soil so that each of the pumpkins have as much soil as they possibly can. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I'm not going to run out to the woods and get logs right now, so I'm just going to use a couple terracotta pots, and then eventually we just want to hold this down. I'm just going to put the soil in one spot like I did with the other one. This one we're going to do a big spot here. So I'm just going to put it like this, and then I'm going to run and grab some mulch just to kind of cover and help weigh down the paper until I can get more soil on top of these as I start composting more. And I'm going to take 2 seeds, plant them right here, and hope for the best. Look at this. It looks so nice. I really like using this paper rather than cardboard. One, you don't have to deal with all the tape and everything, and you can get that nice even size like that, and I just feel like it's easier to use. And then look how like tidy and organized, and even if it's showing, it's gonna be okay. And then we'll continue to cover it up. Obviously, I'm gonna be working on composting as this year goes on, and we're gonna have all the soil and plant material from the garden when I finally have to tear all of this beauty out. And all of that's gonna go back into like the beds and stuff. So it will get better, but yeah, boy, I wish I just started with this paper. That would have been so much easier. I have been learning so much when it comes to gardening by building all of these beds and all of these gardens. It is a steep learning curve for sure. And this was the first time I'd ever done no dig. I'm gonna water while I talk to you because we are running out of sunlight fast. Whew. But I'd never done any kind of no dig before, so it's definitely been a learning process. But I tell you, if you want to do it like the easy way, that just using like a roll of paper like that, I got mine at like a box store. It's all the painter's stuff. It's nice and thick. Well, I'll be curious to see how it holds up. I will say the one thing with the cardboard that's nice is that the cardboard really, it really creates a barrier. There's one little area that I created at the very beginning out in my yard, and I ended up moving my fencing, and so it's not inside the deer fence, and it's just, I've been trying to like just leave it. It still weeds have not grown on it, and nothing. It is like one of the best. It's ironic because of course I am dealing with weeds in some of my other beds that I did no dig, but that one, oh my goodness, not a weed, not anything. It's just sitting there, this bare spot in my yard where I thought I was going to do a garden bed. I may just have to plant something in it at this point because I'm like, it's so consistent. It's just staying there. I mean, really the no dig does really work. It's pretty cool. And I feel like I've kind of done my no dig as like slapdash and hurried and as little soil and compost as you can possibly get away with, and definitely not maximize, like done it as proper as you should, and it still worked really well. So that's been really cool. I will keep you posted on how these pumpkins do. This is the birdhouse gourd out here. I'm watering it now. I don't see any gourds starting on it, but look there's all those flowers. That's the vine. There's all those flowers. So who knows? We may yet have a birdhouse gourd out here. It was very slow to germinate when I planted it in the spring. So I'm also kind of curious how the germination is going to be now that we're planting it in the heat. Theoretically, I think I'm just going to water down some of this straw too. I think that we're done with the like the major heat waves, but you know, never say never, because it is still August and we can even get, like, it can be hot in October, it can be hot in September here, but we're getting like a week off, and then I think we'll probably be back to in the 90s Fahrenheit. You know, maybe we won't get back to 100. That might have been our top at the summer, but that could still happen too. Virginia weather is a little bit unpredictable, and we tend to have like heat that comes back, and we tend to have a warm fall and all of that. Just gonna try to water down all the straw too to help it all stick down, so it hopefully doesn't move all over the place. It's not too bad for walking on. It's maybe a little bit messier, I guess, than just like plain old wood chips, but I'm guessing it'll just kind of pack down and fade, and eventually I assume I will just be mowing most of this. But the clay was also not good, and would get really muddy, like anytime you'd water or there was rain with just the earth, the clay soil. No grass would grow, but it would still get muddy. So I think this will be better. All right, well, I'm going to finish up watering. That's all I'm getting done in the garden today, but I feel like I'm hitting this like stride with the garden right now. It's making me so happy where things are sort of like it's happening. We're getting harvests, putting pieces together, and feeling more settled in the garden, I guess I should say. And that feels really, really good. Like we just had a good place where instead of totally being building all the time, I can just relax and do a little bit of gardening. I still have one big project coming. I am going to do a little bit of a greenhouse shelter for the winter, but then that'll be like, well, I'm not even going to say that's going to be the last big project because you know how it goes, but I'm enjoying this week. I don't have any big projects right now. I'm just really gardening and planting and got those pumpkins in, so that feels good. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.